Welcome back to a new episode of TAPintoTV.
This week, we take you to the NJEA Convention, the largest gathering of educators in the world.
And we'll learn how you can see all of the Oscar-nominated short films ahead of this year's award ceremony.
We'll visit an 18th century historic house in Montclair, New Jersey, to learn about the pioneering African-American women who once called it home.
And we will take a look at the history of the President's State of the Union address, which is coming up on Tuesday.
But first up, our original series, HomeGrown, goes back to Ridgewood, New Jersey, where host Stephanie Willoughby visits a local gift shop and learns about walking tours around the historic town.
My name is Stephanie Willoughby, and I'm a family photographer here in the great state of New Jersey. Jersey is full of small towns with big personalities, which is why I want to explore what makes your community special. I'm interested in the stories that your community would tell if it had a voice. This is HomeGrown. Today we're visiting one of Bergen County's finest cities, Ridgewood, New Jersey. A traditional town famous for its great schools, beautiful homes, and bustling downtown. Ridgewood is a Norman Rockwell painting come to life. It's the kind of picturesque town that you read about in books, a tree-lined suburb with loads of restaurants, shopping, and more.
I'm Jeanne Johnson. I'm the founder of Ridgewood Walks and Ridgewood Talks, and I'm also on the board of directors for the Ridgewood Guild, the Women's Club of Ridgewood, and the Historical Society of Ridgewood.
I want to talk a little bit about Ridgewood Walks, because I know that that's a passion of yours. Tell our audience a little bit more about that.
Well, I started Ridgewood Walks about 3 years ago because I started to see our entire country sort of coming apart. And I thought, you know, the best way for us to reconnect our country is one community at a time. So I live in one of the most magnificent places in the United States of America, Ridgewood, New Jersey. And I thought, why don't we offer free guided themed walking tours? Because that will bring some enthusiasm to our downtown. People will walk. We live in a walking community. Sometimes we forget that. So I thought, okay, let's do these free guided themed walking tours. Let's have local ambassadors guide the tours so then they can tell newer residents about what their experience was about living here. And you know, we have 13 sites on the National Registry of Historic Places. So we have a deep history here. And beside that, it's just a glorious place to live. It's so pretty here, and we want as many people as we can find to come and visit us.
With your work with the Ridgewood Guild, can you talk a little bit about some of the events that you guys have coming up?
We do the free guided themed walking tours, and we're going to have a special emphasis on historic tours this time around. We're going to be visiting 8 historic sites in Ridgewood, the oldest being from 1890 and going on up until 1920-ish, that era. So these beautiful historic homes, we're going to try and pull in all of the rich history of the home as well as the community.
It's interesting, when we started HomeGrown, one of the missions that I was on was that I think people don't leave their neighborhood enough and visit other places. And I think that New Jersey should be really united in the fact that we are a small state, but a mighty state,
right? A
very populated state.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about the community aspect.
Okay.
How do you feel that being a part of the community sort of like, I guess, centers you or anchors you to the community? What's the benefits of that for people who may not do that?
Well, I think for me personally, I became very active, a very active volunteer, because I genuinely feel so grateful to live in a place like this. I didn't come from a place like this. So I wake up every day and think, oh, I'm so lucky. So I want to give back. I'm not any different than any other resident here. We have so many volunteers that give of their time and their talents and their finances to keep our community beautiful and vibrant. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, I love that.
I
That's
am.
Perfect, yeah. Well, gratitude's the best attitude,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, and I feel the same way about my town, but I really feel like that about all of New Jersey, because we never go any place where we don't feel welcomed as a family or as individuals.
We are so welcoming. We want as many people as possible to come and visit us because we want to show off what we have here and we want you to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for more. Thank you so much for
Thank
meeting
you.
with us today. I'm so grateful we had you here with us.
To watch more Tap Into TV, follow us on social media at TAPintoTV.
When I started researching Ridgewood, I found myself on the Ridgewood Guild page, an excellent resource for this town boasting over 25,000 residents. Tony Damiano is the owner of the popular Mango Jam gift shop. He also happens to be president of the Ridgewood Guild, a shop owner, and a music buff. Seems like someone homegrown should get to know better. So we are here in Mango Jam. This is a great gift shop here in Ridgewood. How long have you been in business here?
We're going on 20 years. It's hard to believe.
Oh my goodness. How have you seen Ridgewood change in the time that you've been in business here?
Well, it's, the fabric of the downtown has remained the same. We have a great selection of retail stores, and now we do have more restaurants, just about every variety of restaurant imaginable, and people just flock to them, especially on the weekends.
Yeah, this is a busy city. I mean, it's like no shortage of residents and visitors.
Yes.
Are you a resident of Ridgewood?
I'm a resident, yes.
You are. And how long have you lived here?
We've been here 10 years.
What do you think, it is about Ridgewood that attracts people to be here?
Well, it's definitely the community and the organizations. There's always so much going on in town, and people just love what we do at the Guild, what the Chamber of Commerce does, and it's just a vibrant community.
Let's talk a little bit about the things that you sell here.
Sure. Well, one of my largest vendors is Mud Pie. They do a great selection of ceramics. One of my most popular items is by Lori C. Mitchell. These little figurines, I can't tell you how many of them we sell. She does every holiday, every season. She does a Wizard of Oz series. Some local vendors, Surf's Up Candles right here in Belmar, New Jersey. We're one of their largest retailers. Nora Fleming is my best-selling line. It's one gift for every occasion. You buy the serveware, and then there's a little ornament that you attach. And also, she does every season and every holiday. Wonderful line.
That's so fun. I feel like gift shops are really one of the ways that you can kind of feel the vibe of a town.
Yeah.
It's really warm in here. And we have had the pleasure of meeting when I was at the music festival.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about your role in the Ridgewood Guild.
Sure.
Tell me how that got started and what you do with them.
We really got hit hard with the recession about 10 years ago. There were over 40 vacancies in town. I thought, oh my gosh, we have to do something about this to make the town more vibrant. So I conceptualized the Guild, hoping to get 50 people to join. And by the end of that year, we had 150 businesses, and now we're over 300. Residents can join the Guild as well. And we do such great events, always focusing on the downtown and the businesses. As you said, you attended Music Fest. Our other large event is the Film Festival. Our first program was called Music in the Night, which is a wonderful program. On Friday evenings between Memorial Day and Labor Day, we have musicians playing all throughout town. And we usually position them in front of our restaurants, and it just changes the whole vibe of the town. Movies in the Park is another great program. We have 6 free movies in Van Ness Park, and that's a wonderful event.
It's interesting because having been at the Music Fest and then having spent the day here in Ridgewood, it's a family-friendly town. There's a lot of littles, a lot of moms with babies and all that. But it also feels like a kind of town where people stay. And I don't mean that in like a derogatory way, but a lot of towns in New Jersey, especially northern New Jersey, you find people kind of like moving away after their kids get big. But this does not seem to be that sort of town.
No, because we really, the education system is superior. But for me personally, I worked in the city for over 15 years, and it has kind of that city vibe in the sense that I can literally walk into town for a cup of coffee, get my hair cut, etc. There's no reason to go outside Ridgewood. And we often joke it's like a little bubble.
It is, definitely. If you had to describe Ridgewood in, I don't know, a couple of different words, what kind of words would come to mind?
Oh, historic, romantic, it's a creative town. And at the Guild, we actually focus a lot on the arts, and that kind of just morphed. It's just a community. The people really make up the fabric of Ridgewood.
So I know your downtown pretty well, and I've gotten to know it a lot better through HomeGrown. I just want to thank you so much for your time with us today.
We're thrilled that you're here, Stephanie.
Ridgewood is a well-known, well-liked town known for top-notch living. It's the kind of town where young families move in and find a community that is rich in history. You can always find us here on TAPintoTV or on Instagram at HomeGrownNJ. Please leave a comment and let us know where you think we should go to next. For HomeGrown, I'm Stephanie Willoughby. We'll see you next time.
To see all of our latest videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel at TAPintoTV.
Hey everybody, it is Oscar season. And on Saturday, February 8th, you can attend a screening of all of the Oscar-nominated short films at the Celebrate the Underdog Film Festival in Montclair, New Jersey. Today, I'm joined by Corinna Sager, founder and co-producer of the festival. Corinna, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
So tell us a little bit more about this festival. I heard it's a great time.
It is a great time. It's actually wonderful because in one day you get to see all of the nominated films. If you want to see all the Oscar-nominated short films, you just come to our Oscar Shorts Film Festival.
How long have you been producing the festival?
This is our 11th year. We've produced this for 11 years.
Nice. People normally associate the Oscars, obviously, with big feature films and the best documentary and all these things. But why short films? Why have you pursued that?
These films are always there. They have great subject matters and they're very diverse, in a way, much more diverse oftentimes than the feature films. And so you have animated, you have documentary, and you have live action. And all of them have to be 40 minutes or under. So because they're so short, they don't get screened very often. Which movie theater wants to screen something that's 40 minutes long? They don't.
Well, they barely want to screen the features these days.
Exactly. So if you have an opportunity to see them, because they're really cool films and they're generally from around the world, they tackle so many different subject matters, and so the short films are unique. I always say that's why we call them the underdogs of the Academy, because they are. Most people don't even pay attention, and yet many filmmakers have started in short films and then did something wonderful and moved on to creating feature films.
So tell me where and when the festival's happening and how people can attend and find out more information.
So the festival happens on Saturday, February 8th, at Buzz Aldrin Middle School, that is right on Bellevue Avenue in the center of Montclair. We also work with the school. They buy muffins and coffee, and then you can actually, as a visitor, you pay them, and so they get money for their.
Oh, that's great. A little fundraiser.
So it's a little, it's a little nice thing that they also get a benefit from hosting us. And we show all the live action films in the morning, and then the animated and documentary in the afternoon. And this year, actually, we have a very special guest, David Schoner, who is the Associate Director of the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Association.
Of course.
And he's going to address the audience at 1 p.m. for the beginning of the afternoon session and really talk about how film actually started in New Jersey. And we'll show a little documentary about that, because people forget completely that New Jersey was the birthplace of film. And in the mid-1910s, New Jersey produced 90% of all the films that were actually produced at the time. And then later on, everybody moved to Hollywood because the weather was better and everything else.
Of course.
But it's great that he's going to talk about that. He'll take questions from the audience. So it'll be, I think, for somebody who loves film, it'll be a really nice additional element.
David's a great guy, very knowledgeable, a filmmaker himself.
He is.
And of course, New Jersey is seeing a resurgence in filmmaking and television production with the tax benefits, the tax credits that have been re-upped and installed. So there's a lot going on.
There is.
So tell me how people can buy tickets to the festival.
You can purchase tickets online at our website, oscarshortsmontclair.com. And not only that, we have the film schedule there, we have the synopses of the films there, so that will be very helpful. And of course, you can also come the day of the festival and buy them at the door.
Tell us about yourself. Where can people find out more information about you and your company?
Lifestyle International. Yeah. We do international communications and communication strategies for companies, and that's lifestyleintl.com.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
To see all of our latest videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel at TAPintoTV.
The New Jersey Education Association holds their annual convention in Atlantic City, which draws educators from the region, country, and around the globe.
TAPintoTV spoke to a diverse range of exhibitors, vendors, and presenters about the unique programs and products that they offer for both teachers and students in New Jersey and beyond.
TAPintoTV visited Atlantic City to experience the annual NJEA Convention, one of the largest gatherings of educators in the world. We spoke to vendors and presenters about the unique programs and products they offer to both teachers and students in New Jersey.
It's like no other bus you've ever seen. So right now we're based at the Meadowlands Environment Center, and we travel out to about a 50-mile radius, and we roll the mobile food lab right to the school, and we're interested in bringing food literacy to the children of New Jersey. Because to learn about food, first of all, you have to prepare it, and then you have to eat it, and that's what we do on part of the bus. Also, to understand about food, you really should know something about the science of taste. So the back of the bus is really all about doing science experiments that have to do with food. Food is something that draws us all together, and what a great way to bring kids together to learn science and art and prepare food and learn about healthy eating and learn about how it affects their bodies. What better way than to have them prepare food and learn about the science of food?
Just like we all know reading a bedtime story to kids is great because they grow up to love books, our world needs bedtime math. We're all about making math a fun thing you do on purpose at home. It's not just bedtime. We put out a funny little story every day about ninjas or flamingos or chocolate chips, and people can do it any time of day. We have a bath crowd that does it at bath time. There's a dinner crowd. People do it while carpooling. It's anytime you want. Well, we know from research that our app gets kids ahead 3 months in math skills in 1 year. So we are now working with schools to get the word out to as many families as we can. And it's called Parents Count, and we'll help a school put out flyers during parent-teacher conferences for teachers to let parents know that there's this amazing resource for them. Every little story has questions starting for a 3-year-old, like find 3 rectangles in your room, or what's 2 + 3? When parents do it, they start to realize they can do math, and they remind themselves, even if they really have been nervous about math, that actually they can do it too. And my favorite thing about this job is when I get fan mail where people say, you know, this is the first time I've loved math as a grown-up, and that's what we want to do. I think we have 2 reasons to get good at math. One is obviously the shortage of engineers and scientists, and everybody who wants to go into those jobs needs math. But we need math in real life, and that's all of us. Everything from wondering if a warranty is worth it to understanding statistics in the paper and whether you can believe them. I mean, there's so many things in real life that use math, and it's all about being fluent and not getting too hung up on an exact answer, because in real life, actually just being able to estimate will get you pretty far. We started as just a fun math story every night, and that's on our app, and we have books. But we also started an after-school club called Crazy Eights, and that's a free kit. And any school or library that can round up 12 kids and meet weekly, we will send the kit. And it's everything from glow-in-the-dark geometry, toilet paper Olympics, really fun and lively, showing kids that math is just awesome and a fun thing to do.
Liberty Science Center is home to the largest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere, 27-meter dome, which is 88 feet. To see a bigger one, you have to go to China. China. It's a real immersive experience in the theater. We also do the traveling portable planetarium for the places that can't quite get to the museum. And in New Jersey, if you're in the southern half of the state, Liberty Science Center is in the northern half of the state. It's about a 2-hour bus ride for kids. So you spend 4 hours on a bus traveling to and from, and 2 hours at the museum. You're on a bus longer than you are with us. So we come out to you.
I think it's important for students to understand where their food comes from so that they have a future and that this world has a future. We try and work personally with each group that comes in so that we fit their needs. We have preschoolers and we also have middle schoolers. We also have team building groups. So every tour we try to gear toward whoever's coming. That way it fits their needs and they can get the most out of the experience with us.
We know how to utilize this technology so that the kids can touch and feel and learn different ways. If a child can see and feel something, it really locks in to them. It makes it more real. We tried to push 3D printing, for instance, into English, history, sciences, math, art. You need to be able to touch, feel, make, get your sense of pride. So that maker movement really injects that, hey, I can do this. Teaches all sorts of different types of skills that can be used later in life. Design thinking skills, troubleshooting skills, everything. It's a very important part now of, I think, education.
GLSEN is the national organization that works for safe schools for all people around issues of sexual orientation and gender identity. So in the curriculum, it is so important to have those windows that we can all look out and see what the life is of persons whose backgrounds and ethnicities and all the different kinds of diversity are different from ours, but it's also so important for persons who are part of maybe a marginalized group to be able to hear what there is being presented in class and know that it mirrors their experience. So windows and mirrors is a concept that we really like to share with educators to be sure that those are there for all of our students. All of our students need to be aware, knowledgeable, so that they can be respectful of everyone, no matter what their gender identity or sexual orientation.
Liberty Hall is a historic house and garden museum located on the campus of Kean University in Union, New Jersey. The American Revolution was literally fought on our front lawn. So we give kids the experience of learning about history where it happened.
The best thing about Liberty Hall is it was lived in for 250 years. So there was lots and lots of kids that grew up in the house. So the kids get to see paintings and photographs of kids like themselves from 200 years ago, from 100 years ago, from 50 years ago, and they can relate to see, oh wow, he looks like me, but he's dressed a little differently. Here are the toys that he played with. Well, I play with Nintendo, or I play with my iPhone. Well, here's a wooden toy that they played with, so they can see that connection.
So the New Jersey Teachers Lounge is an online resource for New Jersey teachers. So it's really just a comprehensive place for teachers to find, just about anything they could need in New Jersey, and also just to hear from their colleagues and to sort of share in the insights from other teachers, other colleagues that write for the site. So it's nj-teachers.com, and we post several blogs a week. It's both support for each other, but it's also just insights that you won't get anywhere else.
Tap Into is a network of more than 80 franchised local news sites with more than 10 million readers. Bring local news to your community while owning your own business. Tap Into provides you with the training, support, and technology to help you build a profitable business. To find out more, visit www.starttap.net.
A building from 1796 still stands in Montclair, New Jersey, and it's been used through the centuries as a home for upper-class families, a boarding house and meeting place for African-American women, and today, it's the Montclair History Center.
Let's visit them to learn about the home's lasting legacy as a cultural center for African-American women in northern New Jersey.
It was built in 1796 by Israel Crane, and then in 1920 it was purchased by the YWCA, which had been founded 12 years earlier by Alice Huey Foster. And they moved in here, and it became both a boarding house for women who were moving north as part of the Great Migration, but it also became a safe haven. And it remained a YWCA from 1920 to 1965. It was really a central part of the African American community here in Montclair for all those years. Montclair was unique in that out of 50 black YWCAs throughout the United States, Montclair was the only one that didn't have a sister white Y. These women just took it upon themselves to start it because they felt they needed it, and they were always very, very proud of that. New Jersey in and of itself was never as progressive as some of the other northern states. We were the last to abolish slavery. As a matter of fact, even at the Civil War, there were still some slaves, enslaved workers in New Jersey. Montclair was progressive. It had integrated schools, but like every town, it also had its barriers. There were certain areas where, as an African-American family, you could get a mortgage, and certain areas where you couldn't get a mortgage. And that led to very distinct neighborhoods that you still have the vestiges of today. As the African-American population continued to grow in Montclair, you begin to see this segregation happening more and more, and it really stayed that way until the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s, and you could no longer have those segregated spaces. On the Eyewitness to History tour, for example, what we do is we go room by room looking at different primary and secondary documents from each period. One of the things that always surprises people is in the first room, the 1796 to 1840 room, we have a newspaper, actually two newspapers that have George Washington's obituary on one side, and on the reverse side of that, an ad for a sawmill that's for sale, or you can buy a Negro wench. And people are always shocked because they don't think New Jersey has got that kind of slave history, but unfortunately we do. People come here all year round, so it really is a vibrant community. It's a vibrant center where people can really discover the past, right here in Essex County.
Here in the United States, our federal government has a long and unique history. Part of that history includes several annual institutions and ceremonies. One of those institutions is the President's Address to a Joint Session of Congress, the State of the Union.
On the occasion of the State of the Union, TAPintoTV looks back at the history of the annual address. The basis for the State of the Union can be found in Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution. And indeed, in 1790, George Washington delivered the first address, which was then known as the Annual Message. Washington delivered that speech in New York and in person. John Adams followed suit. However, Thomas Jefferson delivered his State of the Unions in writing, which began a new tradition up until 1913. That year, President Woodrow Wilson, former governor of New Jersey, revived the practice of delivering the State of the Union as a speech to Congress. Since President Wilson's speech, there have been a total of 83 in-person addresses. Though Bill Clinton delivered the longest State of the Union, clocking in at 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 49 seconds in 2000. Donald Trump is the president whose addresses have gone the longest, averaging an hour and 20 minutes.
To learn more about TAPintoTV, visit TAPintoTV.net. To see all of our latest videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel at TAPintoTV.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Tap Into TV.
Every Sunday at 11 a.m. right here on News 12 Plus.
Welcome back to a new episode of Tap Into TV. Sorry, one more time, please. Roll back the tape. Ready?
Yes.
Hey, Kayla, when can people watch us?
Sundays at 11, right here on News 12 Plus.
Where?
Here.
Sometimes I curse my writers. Oh, jeez.
You're supposed to say catch.
Where can I buy some shorts? How? I never wear shorts, actually, because I have ugly legs.
Right here on News 12 Plus.
Park in the middle of the street. Put a little note in your windshield. Corinna told me to park here.
Hey, quick!
Oh, hey, that's a wrap. This has been great. Thanks for joining me.
You got it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Get out. No, sorry.
That was great.
Right? It's all good. We didn't miss anything. It was fun. Get your stuff and get out. You're still here?